When I was in Liberia for those 3 days, one of the things that happened was I was there, and when I left to go from the U.S. to Liberia, it was just my husband and I going. We weren't going with a team. And they asked my husband, they said, will you speak at a church? He said, yes. And they said, and we want Debbie to speak at another church. And I said, okay. I had never spoken at a church in my life. And the only thing I'd ever done at that time was kids ministry. And so it was like a couple months, and then finally it was time to go. And so I had put a message together, and guess what my message was on? Suffering. I got off the plane, and I went to an amputee camp, and I went with my husband as we were traveling around this country, and I said, you need to throw your notes in the trash can. There is nothing that you've done that is going to even touch on suffering in this country. Nothing. You can sleep in a car in America and be doing better than what I had seen there. So I'm like sitting in my hotel room, and I'm mad at God. I'm like, God, you brought me all the way over here. I have nothing. And I remember I grabbed my Bible in my hotel room, and I said, all I have is this. I have no internet. I have no connection. I have no commentary. I have nothing but this. I know, it's foolish, isn't it? And so as I was sitting there and I was praying, I'm like, God, what am I going to tell them? It was right then, again, very few times I can tell you that I know what God wanted me to do. And he said, I want you to tell your story. I'm like, yeah, right. I've never told anybody my story. Ever. Everybody knew me as a business person. That's it. Never told my story. And so I was like, no. And I was arguing with God. I was having a fit in that room. I am not doing this. I am not doing it. I am not doing it. And then I was like, but I ain't got nothing else. I don't have anything else. So what am I going to do? And so right then I said, okay, God, I am going to do this, but I am not happy about it. And it was like then, right then again, the Holy Spirit just spoke to me and said, I brought you halfway around the world so you could feel safe to tell your story. Now tell it. I wish I could say, man, I got up and I told this great story. No way. I got up, I got to this church, and if you've been in a church in Africa, everybody was dancing all over the place. I'm sitting in that big man's chair over here, sweat pouring down, dripping down my legs. I am dying. I'm feeling like I am going to pass out at any minute. And I had heard this. I don't know if you guys know who Miles McPherson is. He is used to play for the San Diego Chargers. He has a church in San Diego. And back in the day, before he actually started that church, I got to see him speak. And one of the things he said was when he couldn't speak. He said he hated to talk to people. And so he went to a football stadium or school, to the auditorium for like an elementary school. And he said they decorated the whole place, and it said, welcome Miles McPherson. And they got all the kids, they brought them in, they lined them all up, and they had them all ready. And he said he walked up to the front and he said, hi, my name is Miles McPherson. Stay cool, stay in school, have a great day. And he walked off. I'm standing in that seat going, that is what's going to happen. That is exactly what's going to happen. So I walk up and I share something, I don't even know what, because, it was one of those times. And here's what's amazing. And it had nothing to do with me. It had everything to do with God. In the first row, there was a news reporter. And the news reporter did a story. And it made the front page of the Liberian newspaper. Not because I said something great. I'm convinced it's because the Lord wanted me to know that if I'm obedient and I do what he tells me to do, he'll give me the words to say. Amen. Because I'm reading this, I'm going, who the heck said that? That's not even how I talk. But that's what God did. So that day in that meeting in Africa, chains fell off my life. Because a lot of us live in bondage. And that day, I felt it. It was like a release. And so that's how Be Finally Free got its name. And so it was so cool. This is a video I'm going to show you. Is I got the opportunity to go back to Liberia. It's been my prayer is to be able to go back there to that church and tell them what happened because of that day that I almost fell over and passed out. And there were a few people that were still there, so that was really neat. But this time it was so different. I go in there dancing all over. I'm dancing with them, and we're going all over the place, and I'm so excited. It was so fun to know that God brought me to that place to break the bondage. And so some of you in this room might be in bondage today. And if you are, this is the day. Let it go.